Hello, hello, salut. I am the Rasta Witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say, my kind of ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads lead to Rome. Home. Okay, this one is about punk rock history and the roots. Maybe you've heard the song by Rancid, the "Here Come the Boots, the Roots, the Reggae on my stereo," or you've known other punk rockers that know, some of the roots of the punk rock history. So punk rock started in England. Of course, Black Sabbath started the concept of a heavy sound, and then later came the idea, like most with like the Sex Pistols and bands like that, group of like squatters that would would be like what you think of punk rock. Those things all started, um, and but in the audience was people from America, early punk rockers, and they'd go back to America and say, "Hey, there's this new music, punk rock," and they would start groups of punk rock in the States, with a lot of black influence, like the DC punk sound, like Bad Brains. They were Rastas, and they're like one of the most foundational punk rock bands and that type of punk rock. There was Death, which was another band of black people in the 1865. Of course, the Death, which was an early sound. Bad Brains were highly influenced by the Ramones. And Death was highly influenced by MC5 and Alice Cooper. So it's not all black people, but like that group of people right there is kind of where it came. Where punk rock went after that. In the UK, there was at the time, and I have a documentary later on here called The Clash, BBC, on this playlist, early Rasta history, and that goes over how there was a lot of Rastafarians, a lot of Rastas in the UK at that time, and the punk rockers really admired them because like a lot of the music was like the devil and and sex and love, and they didn't have real deep, profound meaning. The lyrics and stuff, or it was too lovey-dovey and hippie-ish, and so they thought, hey, let's have like a heavy kind of music, and like the Rastas, how they started reggae and their own kind of music, and we can start our own kind of music. So especially with bands like the Sex Pistols was like drugs and everything, so it started like that. But bands like the Clash, so, really was strongly influenced by the Rastas, and add in reggae sounds, and there's just all kinds of influence from the Rastas. So that's why punk rockers. So the Yan Sui Rasta today, we're punk rock witches that are big Bob Marley fans and have chosen Haile Selassie as an archetype. you know. Bob has a song. Bob's best album is Legend, and I'll have it on here. That's the album you should listen to. If you listen to any one Bob Marley, it's like a greatest hits Legend. It has a song on a punky reggae party. I feel like that's him probably reacting to all the punk rockers that are been. And at the beginning of this playlist, there's Joe Strummer doing his version of a Redemption song. Of course, that picture of Bob Marley has got that ring on his hand. That was a ring that was given to him by Haile Selassie, so he was really proud of that ring. But yeah, so that's kind of like watch all that documentary on the BBC, and just especially if you're a punk rocker, and you can kind of see, maybe you make music and you can add a little reggae punk rock to your sound as you can become more and more of a Yan Sui Rasta. Who knows?